What a lot of us out here were already suspecting has now been confirmed. It is official. The Blade movie has been canceled. And I personally am thrilled to get such great news on the weekend. Now, I know a lot of you out there disagree, and that's okay. We're going to talk about it. But first, we are going to watch a clip from the original Blade. Because I'm noticing that a lot of you out here are all broken up and disappointed. Like you thought Disney was going to give us a good Blade movie. And let me be clear, I would love a new Blade movie. But my main point is that if they are not going to meet or exceed the original movie, then don't make it. I want to remind you all, this is the movie that saved Marvel. This is the movie that started it all. I was alive in 1998 and I had to sneak in to see this movie. So before we move on to the rest of my rantings, we're going to watch this clip just to make sure that you people out there have it fresh in your fucking mind of what the original Blade movie was like. The brutality, the brilliance. Let's watch the clip.
But then I remember how much of an asshole you were.
You want to cut me some slack here? You asked for some time off, I gave you some time off.
Look, Curtis.
You know, I'm trying, really, I am.
It's over.
You want to give
Came back to finish you off.
Get out of my way, you freak!
Freeze! Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?
Hey, you freak!
Did you catch that? Now you keep that in your head. Should you choose to continue on with the rest of my video, listening to my rantings and my very unpopular opinions, you keep that in your head. Because if you needed one movie to save Marvel, this would not have been it. It would have been one of the choir boys. It would have been Spider-Man or Captain America or Iron Man. You know, it'd be something really friendly that you can take your kids to see on Saturday. This would not have been it. But more often than not, reality is stranger than fiction. All right, let's just get right into it. I don't have any VPNs or products I need to plug for you. So first off, I am not one of these dudes that just thinks like, only Wesley Snipes can play Blade. I'm not part of that crowd. Oh, there's only one Blade. No. That is a bunch of nonsense. And anybody that has that mentality is just full of shit and nostalgic. And believe you me, I understand that sentiment. But the reality is that the world is full of magnificent artists and capable people. I think there's probably thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of unknown actors, stuntmen, martial artists, what have you, that could take over the role of Blade. This is not about Wesley Snipes or Ali. This is about respect for the text, the source material, the work of art. Because truth be told, look, there are a lot of characters that have evolved over time and become much darker than what they were. Batman, the Punisher, the Joker, Wolverine, all of these characters have evolved over time. But this isn't about the evolution of Blade. This is about Disney shitting on their darker characters. Look at what they've done to the Hulk, or Gore, Thanos, Kang, or what they're about to do to the Punisher and Doctor Doom. And just, quick aside, I love Christian Bale as Gore. I'm surprised he took that role. But for those of you that were at least familiar with Gore from the comics, Gore is no joke. Gore the God Butcher? Really? And this character wound up in Love and Thunder. Yeah, that's a fucking joke. Love Christian Bale's portrayal. But, yeah. But, that's what Disney does. And that's why, in my opinion, this should be a celebration for Blade fans. Because Blade has been spared for the moment. He's been saved. He's been granted a stay of execution. Much like Marvel, when the original Blade movie saved Marvel from bankruptcy back in the late 90s. And that movie is rated R. So I think it's better that we don't get a taste of Disney's McBlade sandwich. Let them use some other character to blend up with their family-friendly, quippy dialogue trash to push out of their drive-through window, okay? I think Blade deserves far better. And, I just kind of posted a similar video talking about the Punisher being in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm very excited for the new Spider-Man movie, but I don't like what I'm seeing from the Hulk or the Punisher. And, I know sometimes I kind of harp on this topic, ad nauseum, but, I do that because many people out there don't seem to understand or care about this concept. They don't seem to care about the correlation between what the fans support, as in, what we spend money on, and what we don't. And, I'm probably not the best person to explain it, but I think it's important to have dissenting voices out there, which that's usually what I am. But let's go ahead. Let's have a look at some comments from a Blade subreddit. So this person thinks they have some kind of a gotcha by pointing out that Disney airs TVMA content. Okay. All right. And what are those shows? I would ask. Because I know I've watched probably, if not all of them, I've watched most of them. Oh, what? Daredevil? The Punisher? Jessica Jones? Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's take Disney's TVMA content and be honest. Does any of it go half as hard as the original Blade? The answer is no. The answer is no. So, if Disney is not going to aspire to the gold standard, or actually, fuck that. If they're not going to aspire to the diamond standard of on-screen Blade, then it shouldn't make the movie. Just leave it alone. And fans shouldn't be supporting anything less than a stellar effort for a Blade movie. With all of the money and resources that Disney has available to them, they should be trying to exceed the original movie that started all of this anyway. And the original movie was violent and dark and blood-soaked And it is a rated R masterpiece that actually improved the source material, right? When you can make a movie that makes the book better, you probably did a pretty good job. I would point to the movie Drive. It is superior to the novel, and they only took a small piece of the novel and they turned it into a masterpiece. I would say the same for The Count of Monte Cristo, a book that I've been reading since I was a little kid. The book is dope, but the movie absolutely improved on many things from the book. Let's look at another comment that I actually agree with. Yeah, I totally agree with this. They could totally do, an Old Man Blade movie, just like Logan. And is Logan not one of the dopest comic book movies ever? Oh, and by the way, it's rated R. How do we feel about Wolverine X-Men Origins? A lot of cool stuff in there, but is that really what we wanted for a Wolverine movie? Nah. The video game that accompanied it was actually dope. It's what the movie should have been like. A lot of us out here are all pumped up for the Wolverine game coming out because it allows the character to be. Wolverine is not supposed to be family friendly, right? If we're honest, he's not supposed to be some family-friendly character. Just the thing about Wolverine is just he's highly versatile. And so you can stick him into, all kinds of different stories. But not everybody's like that. So throughout the years, we've seen this over and over again. When they try to force a character or a story or a group of characters into some kind of PG-13 movie, especially when it comes to the horror genre, because they want to try to maximize the amount of people that go, buy a ticket to see the movie, right? I think the perfect example is the Spawn movie. That movie's a joke. I hate that movie. Huge Spawn fan, and I hate the Spawn movie. Now, I was a kid back in the 90s, and I snuck in. To see the Spawn movie. And you know what? I walked the fuck out as a kid. How bad does a movie have to be for an underage fan to walk out of a movie that they didn't pay for? Now, in my defense, I did pay for my ticket to Air Bud. But, said ticket just got used for a double feature of Event Horizon and Copland. With a short intermission into Spawn. It was the 90s. These things happened. And, to be fair to the employees, I already had lots of facial hair. I was that kid, But when we juxtapose the Spawn movie with the Spawn animated series for HBO, that show is brutal. And you know what else? It's actually better than the comics. Do you see a pattern here? Right? Let's just take like a brief look at the character of Blade. And you tell me how you fit this into a family-friendly environment without ruining the character. Okay, so we start off. Blade is half vampire, aka Dampier, aka the Daywalker, son. All right, so we're already dealing with horror. Oh, and by the way, these vampires do not sparkle. They tear your throat out in the middle of the fucking hospital. Do you think Disney would shoot something like that? You think they're gonna let that roll? Do you think that Disney shoots this scene? Disney's not going to do something like this. Let's move on. Oh, Blade's basically a drug addict. If he doesn't get his serum, well, he's gonna have to go bite the shit out of somebody, huh? He's volatile. He's vengeful. He's angry, right? So you can forget about the whole, moral narrative. Like he doesn't do forgive and forget. He's basically hunting supernatural, cannibalistic serial killers and their collaborators. That's what he does. So if you are a familiar, he will kill you. He'll kill you. Right? Even if you're just a dude trying to get a paycheck. Oh, wait a sec. You took a job working for the vampires? He will fucking kill you. So please explain to me how you think Disney was going to make him into some kind of family-friendly character without completely fucking it up. All they were going to do was turn it into a mockery with, their super quippy dialogue and dogmatic narratives. That's all they were going to do. Now, supposedly, he is still supposed to show up in Midnight Sun. That's okay. I mean, let me just clarify something. I am talking about standalone Blade projects, or projects centered around specific characters. I'm not talking about cameos or appearances, crossover. That stuff is all supposed to be fun. Just seeing Blade leaving with a 6-pack of beer, like in fucking Queens or something, would be hilarious in a Spider-Man movie, right? It would be welcome. And, I basically brought this same thing up in the last video I posted, where I was talking about, what's about to happen to the Punisher in the new Spider-Man movie. Both Blade and the Punisher are in the old school Spider-Man cartoon from when I was a little kid. And they were both dope and accurately represented. And I know for a lot of kids back then, the Spider-Man cartoon introduced people to new characters. I know for a lot of kids back then, they didn't know who the Punisher was. They didn't know anything about Blade. Like me and my friends, we used to watch cartoons together, whether it be on Saturday mornings, after a sleepover or something, or, after school. And, all of a sudden one day Blade shows up on Spider-Man. And I wet myself. Perfectly acceptable for a young boy. It's like my friends didn't know who the Punisher was. And enter the Punisher, and I think I blew my first nut. Yeah. Nobody knew what was going on. Perfectly acceptable for a young boy. So, for me personally, when you start dealing with dark characters, there are 4 movies that I think are the standard. They are shimmering examples of how it's done. Obviously, the original Blade, Batman 89, Logan, and Punisher 89. If you're going to delve into darker characters, then do it. Delve into the darkness. Accurately represent them. Respect the source material. So, just to close out the video, I just want to ask you guys some questions here. Did you expect a Disney Blade movie to be good? And I know that good is highly subjective. When I say good, I'm talking about the original movie. That's the standard. Or even the second movie. Did you really expect the movie to be as good or better as the original Blade movie? I'd be very interested in your opinion. Or, are you one of these people that had low expectations for the project, just like I did, but you just wanted them to make the movie anyway? Like you'd rather have trash than nothing? Are you one of those people? So, you guys feel free. I know a lot of you out there are going to disagree, but, I don't really care. But you feel free to leave a substantive, well thought out comment below. If I get enough audience participation, then I'll do a follow-up video. We'll read off the comments and respond and, just have a little discussion about it. Same as I did for, the Halloween mask video. But feel free to express yourself. Okay, guys, as always, I would like to thank you for checking out The Dope Show. Always be yourself. Be safe out there and take care of each other. You got the crazy and the cruel people just running loose in the streets in 2026. Safely enjoy your nightlife. This is Frank Midnight, signing off.